Those pesky customers, they just show up and talk your ear off all day, and they're constantly there and they purposely interrupt you and send you 100 emails for a part that makes no money. They're all like that. Well, of course, according to a lot of my comments, they're like that. Let me be straight up with you. If you have bad customers, it's your fault. Now, tons of comments get posted all the time about how I don't charge the customer for wasting my time before I took on a job. And they're absolutely right. I didn't charge the customer for wasting my time because the customer wasn't wasting my time. The customer was paying for my time. And the difference there is my attitude about the customer. Now, if you think a customer is wasting your time, you may need to reevaluate because the customer is actually giving you money. Now, the majority of my customers are super cool in that they usually just drop the part off and say, hey, let me know what I owe you and when it's ready. The interaction is short and sweet. Now, sometimes it takes a few extra minutes to talk to a customer, but that's up to me and not the customer to make the conversation short and sweet. Whether you realize it or not, you as the business owner get to decide what kind of work you want to do, the type of work you want to do, and the type of customer that you want to deal with. So here are 4 rules that I live by when it comes to dealing with customers. And I just want to put this out there real quick. The advice and practice that I'm about to give is not to be confused with your right to be a dick. You can still be a respectful and honest business owner who chooses his or her customers. Number 1, get someone else to do it. Your job is to make money. You make money by designing things, cutting them, sticking them together, and so on. If you're stuck dealing with calls and customers all day long, you're not in the back doing what you're supposed to be doing. A CSR is someone that can answer the phones while you're in the back. They can also talk to customers as they walk in. And you know what's even better than that? They're also totally capable of providing estimates and quotes, writing invoices, and processing transactions. You can train them to do exactly that. The less time that you're on the phone or talking to a customer means the more time that you're in the back making money doing what you're supposed to do. Oh, but Justin, that's too much money and I have to have extra insurance and workers' comp and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I know. I do too. Welcome to owning a business. I mean, if you can't afford it, then it's your fault for not having a business that makes enough money. Number 2, it's up to you. Now, if a customer is being a pain in the rear, don't make them your customer. Send them down the road. If they're costing you more money by wasting more of your time than you will make doing the job, send them to your competition to waste their time while you move on to someone else that will make you money. This is your business and your livelihood that's on the line. If a customer is really dragging you down, get a different customer base. Don't blame them and then charge them for your inability to handle a situation that you as a business owner needs to be able to handle. Oh, but Justin, that's why there's minimums and there's customer can kick rocks if they don't like my price. I mean, yeah, you can act that way if you want to be a total dick about it. And if you're my competition, thanks for sending me the small part fortunes. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep these customers around because I'm a lot more transparent. Number 3, transparency. See what I did there? I've said before, I don't charge minimums. Instead, I charge service fees, which are different. But how? Well, when you state that there is a fee for a particular service, like drafting for example, it offers the customer several options as opposed to a minimum. Minimums tell the customer that they only have 2 options. For instance, let's say that you quote a job that you're doing, it's going to cost $150 for 5 parts, right? You tell the customer that's going to be $20 per part, $15 each for the material and $5 each for the labor, and then we have a drafting fee of $50. Now immediately the customer can see exactly what they're paying for, which allows them to make decisions quickly based on their needs. Now, sometimes they go away because maybe they disagree with your price, but most of the time they follow through with confidence and they leave happy knowing that they got exactly what they paid for. On the other side of this, if you tell the customer, $150 minimum, the customer is immediately knocked into only 2 choices, you or not you. They also get deterred right off the get-go on small work, which as we know, small parts and small work makes a lot of friggin' money. Both estimates and quotes were the exact same amount of money, and you spent the exact same amount of time dealing with them. But only the transparency increases the likeliness of gaining a new customer or keeping a customer. I mean, you'll get the money for the time and the service fee unless you don't know how to charge for that. And while we're on the subject of time, that's also your responsibility and not the customer's. Now, I've had more than a few instances where it did take a bit longer to talk to the customer, like 9 out of 10 times. That's because this is a paper part drawing or a physical template or something that I didn't have the measurement on. Now, my job is to catch that info before the customer leaves. It's attention to detail. And if I have a very chatty customer, which often happens, I simply don't engage in the conversation about whatever they're talking about. I either keep it moving forward on the topic of the work, or if I feel like the customer is going to waste a lot of my time, I simply say, this is something I'm not going to be able to take care of for you, but check out my competition down the road. They should be able to do it for you. Number 4, forget the reviews. I should just probably quit on these while I'm ahead. Look, I only mention this because reviews really used to mean something before everybody pretty much realized that reviews are only good for valid entertainment. I mean, just look at all the bad Amazon reviews left by somebody who couldn't read that batteries were not included, or they were too stupid to assemble a piece of furniture despite having a full set of instructions in their hand and the tools are provided. Like, even I have been left a subpar review about services that my company doesn't even offer from a person that has never stepped foot in my shop because he lives in a completely different country, and I can't do anything about it. In some cases, reviewers are encouraged to leave reviews because they are given rewards and rankings as reviewers. I mean, think of it like all the Karens on Yelp right now are reviewing their way to a participation award. And I mean, it is a complete friggin' joke, right? If you're focused on reviews, either good or bad, you're not focused on you and your company. Now, of course, treat your customers with respect, whether they're regular customers or new customers, potential customers, and don't sweat the reviews. At the end of the day, if a potential customer is swayed away based on some silly star system and doesn't actually read what's going on, you probably didn't want them as a customer anyway, since you would have likely just turned them away. Just remember that customers are your bread and butter. They're not a problem that you have to deal with. Whether they're walking in the door randomly or emailing you, or they're part of some big pool of work that you've got to fight through to get the right bid on, or whatever the case is, a customer is a customer, and they are the ones who pay your bills. It's your job to make sure that customer interactions work in your favor because the customer is holding your money. Now, that's all I got for this episode. I want to thank you guys, as always, for watching. Of course, I'll be down in the comments there seeing what you guys have to say and all the rest of that good stuff. But until next time, I'll see you on the next episode.